that in all my remarks I was preparing, I never mentioned that I'm running for re-election. And so let's just fix that right now. I am so proud today to announce that I am running for re-election. And we chose this setting because this setting is about, if you will, what our state can do. I was speaking to Michelle, the store manager, and the great floods of 2016 affected North Louisiana and South Louisiana. She had 4.5 feet of water here throughout the entire inventory. Refrigerators gone, meat grinders gone, you name it, they had to replace it. And they did. And when they replaced it, it sent the signal. It sent the signal to a mother. Disaster, and we effectively recover, we can help others do the same thing. We have an issue of, if you got an SBA loan, you didn't qualify for a Restore Louisiana grant. We worked through that. We worked hard, met with the administration, met with our legislative leaders, and finally got it fixed. So when disasters hit Puerto Rico and Florida and Texas, I was able to go to my colleagues and say, you don't know it, but in 15 months, this is going to be your issue. And if you want to jump on it now, so that you don't have that problem then, I'll tell you how to get there. And our duty to our community, our responsibility to meet that challenge, benefits somebody in Puerto Rico, somebody in Florida, somebody in Texas. What we learned in Louisiana helps us all. I'll go back to 6 years ago when I ran. We had a sense that there are people in Washington, D.C. who wanted to tell us how to live our life in a way that we knew was not for our benefit. And what was particularly frustrating is that if you take our wisdom and you channel it to Washington, D.C., the solutions are so much better. That has not changed. We have a group of presidential candidates on the Democratic side who want to do away with your Second Amendment rights. One of them will say to a pregnant woman, he doesn't want her to miss work, and he speaks of the unborn child, just kill it. We have folks that on their first day, they say they would do away with fracking, which produces all the natural gas, which has created so much prosperity for our country, for the world, and has helped clean our air quality. That's what we're fighting against. So let me go back to the wisdom that we have. Let's talk about President Trump's economy, in which we become energy dominant. And as we become energy dominant, we created jobs not just at the wellhead, but all through that pipeline, down to that petrochemical plant that decided to move here from elsewhere, because here you have good, clean burning natural gas that's low cost. And so they're creating jobs in Louisiana as opposed to jobs in China or India or someplace else. We can speak about record low unemployment for you name the group. We have record low unemployment for high school dropouts, for the disabled, for women, for veterans, for the disabled. We have people leaving prison, getting a job on the day they leave because it's such a hot economy that someone will hire somebody. And isn't that a great way, as I look at a sheriff's deputy, isn't that a great way to lower crime, which is to give somebody a job as soon as they leave? They don't need to return to criminal activity. They return to paying taxes. They return to the true economy. They become neighbors who actually contribute to the benefit of us all. That's a President Trump program that has worked out very well. I mentioned a couple other things that I've learned from my neighbors. I'm a doctor. You've heard my joke. I'm a gastroenterologist, which prepared me very well for Washington, D.C. But if you listen to patients and if you listen to constituents, you learn a lot. One thing that I would hear would be about mental health issues. And I thought back to a girl I went to high school with. Very pretty, but always was by herself. And she would walk down the hallway, staring at the wall, maybe hitting her hand against the lockers. And I didn't quite know what it was until I saw her many years later as a patient. And it turns out she had undiagnosed and untreated mental illness. And this beautiful girl who should have been so popular instead had no friends. If you look at the leading cause of suicide among our young people, it's mental illness. So when I go to Congress, hearing stories like that from everybody, my own personal and family experience, tried to channel our wisdom into what happened, into what we can do in Washington, D.C., and passed the Mental Health Reform Act of 2016, which was called the most important reform of mental health issues in 30 years. And with that, begin to create the resources so if there's a young lady who attends school in this school district who has recognized mental illness, that now there is the treatment that can surround her, that can is important not just for her, but important for us all. So let me return to where I started and then speak about the future. We have a duty. We have a duty to our community, to our country, to our state. And if we can meet the challenges and address the responsibility of that duty, we have a better future. What are examples? Working right now with Ivanka Trump on paid family leave, where now if a child is born to a family, they would have the resources so the mother could stay at home, hopefully to breastfeed, but if not, if she needs to go back to work, to pay for that high quality daycare that will help that child. Healthcare. I had the honor of the president mentioning my name. I'm sitting there thinking, wow, I went to Terra High School. You know what I'm saying? I went to public high school. The high point in my life was playing Fair Park in the state championship game, and now I'm in the East Room, and President Trump is mentioning my name. We need good ideas on health care, and when I need those ideas, I turn to Bill Cassidy. But I will tell you, if someone asks me for good ideas on health care, I turn to you. What are your concerns? Oh, surprise medical billing. Went to a hospital we thought was in network and got a bill for $10,000 because a piece of equipment was out of network. Can we do something about that? High cost of prescription drugs. If I have a Bernie Sanders supporter and a Donald Trump supporter pulling on my lapel and agreeing on something, it is about the price of prescription medication. It cuts across. What can we do so that those prescription medications are more affordable for the senior, for the diabetic, for the person who otherwise cannot afford? I look to you, to your wisdom, and try and meet our mutual responsibility to address that challenge so that when President Trump looks for a solution that works for everybody, we are partners in finding that solution. And I can go down the list. I want 6 more years to continue to listen to you, to continue to find those solutions that work for our state and for our country, that work for the family that's rebuilding after a disaster and working for a family sending their kid off to school. If there's any way that we can do that, our country is better off. When I first ran, I'd be in a group like this, and I'd say, who thinks that your grandchild's going to have a better future than you? And most folks would sit on their hands. And now I can be in a group like this and say, who thinks your grandchild's going to have a better future? And most hands rise up. It is my goal over the next 6 years to make sure that everybody's hand goes up, that we can all be pulling together to meet the challenges in this state, to meet the challenges in our country, not just for ourselves, but for all those that come after us. And if we do, then we will have mutually met our duty to address those challenges that it is our responsibility to address. And future generations will look back upon us and say, thank you very much. So I thank you all for being here. I thank you for partnering, and I look forward to working with you on all sorts of things as we go forward as a country. Thank you. Let me give a shout out to some of our elected officials. If this is the President of the United States, this is a state legislator, and this is a city council member, and that's a mayor, and that's a mayor, that's a governor, a political assistant. And so I just want to also thank them, because they're the ones that take these policies in Washington and they make them work for us here in Louisiana. So a shout out to those guys. Thank y'all. And thank y'all.
Yep. All right. He doesn't. Okay.